Welcome back, fight fans. In today's video, we're diving into the highly anticipated boxing match between the legendary MMA fighter Nate Diaz and the controversial YouTube sensation turned boxer Jake Paul. While many favored Nate Diaz, we'll explore both sides and provide a prediction on who might just come out on top. Let's get started. Nate Diaz's extensive combat sports experience puts him at an advantage against Jake Paul. With over a decade of professional fighting under his belt, Diaz has faced some of the toughest opponents in MMA, such as Conor McGregor. His skill sets include exceptional boxing technique, relentless pressure, and an iron chin. In fact, many people may not know this, but Nate Diaz has always had a deep passion for the sport of boxing. Even during his successful MMA career, Diaz often expressed his desire to step into the boxing ring. This intrinsic love for boxing gives Diaz a unique motivation and a strong foundation in the sweet science which he will bring to the fight against Jake Paul. However, Jake Paul's dedication to boxing and his younger age could potentially level the playing field. Jake Paul's athletic background and size advantage over Diaz cannot be overlooked. Paul has demonstrated improvements in his boxing skills, showing power and accuracy in his previous fights. Additionally, his youth and physical attributes might give him an edge in terms of speed and agility, enabling him to implement an aggressive game plan against Diaz, who is nearing 40 years of age. However, Diaz's toughness cannot be overlooked. He definitely has a chin and can take a punch. He's proved to always come out on top even when all the odds were stacked against him. For example, his last fight in the UFC was against Tony Ferguson, and everyone including Dana White wanted him to lose as this was his final fight in the UFC. But Diaz somehow found a way to win and proved to everyone his toughness, and in the post-fight interview, he stated his desire to show all the MMA fighters how to beat a YouTube boxer. So this toughness will definitely help Diaz and make this a harder fight for Jake Paul. While Nate Diaz's cardio and endurance are commendable, boxing matches have shorter rounds compared to Diaz's usual MMA fights. This means he'll have to put in more action in a shorter amount of time to win each round, which is what it may ultimately come down to if this fight goes to the judges' scorecards. This factor could potentially work against him, as Paul, who has been training specifically for boxing, may be able to match Diaz's pace more effectively. If Paul can keep up and maintain his power throughout the rounds, it could pose a challenge for Nate Diaz, especially as this is his first ever boxing match. And by the way, if you guys are enjoying the content so far, be sure to let me know by leaving a like and subscribing, as it helps out tremendously. But back on track. Jake Paul's unorthodox approach and confidence in the ring have surprised many critics thus far. His ability to adapt and implement new strategies might catch Diaz off guard. Paul's belief in his skills and his willingness to take risks could create openings to exploit Diaz's weaknesses. If Paul can maintain his composure and execute his game plan, he might just find success against Diaz and maintain his clean record against MMA fighters. However, as we have never seen Diaz purely box, it is difficult to know what to expect from him coming fight night. You never know what Diaz brings to the table, which is why he shouldn't be ruled out. He's proved from his previous fights his toughness and ability to push forward regardless of who the opponent is in front of him. With that being said, Diaz's transition between striking ranges, his precision punches, and his excellent footwork will undoubtedly pose a challenge for Jake Paul. Now, both opponents are known to put mental stress on their opponents before fight night. On one side, we have Nate Diaz, who has a history of showing his opponents he doesn't care about anything, which could potentially trick Jake Paul into a false sense of safety around him, which would be a huge mistake. Furthermore, Nate Diaz also recently choked out Logan Paul, which just shows how far he is willing to go to destroy the Paul brothers and make a statement to the MMA community how boxing is done. On the other hand, we have Jake Paul, who is resilient, and his unwavering self-belief has been instrumental in his boxing success. He has showcased confidence inside the ring and has managed to maintain composure in high-pressure situations. He also forces his opponents to put it all on the line before each fight. This mental warfare plays an advantage for both opponents, and come fight night, we will find out who crumbles under this mental pressure. Lastly, we must mention how much both opponents have on the line. Nate Diaz recently left the UFC for the sport of boxing just to show MMA community how boxing is done. If he loses, he would embarrass himself as he called out other MMA fighters like Tyron Woodley for losing to Jake Paul. And this loss could potentially end his newly started boxing career before he even had a chance to take off. On the other hand, Jake Paul recently lost to Tommy Fury, which is nothing to be ashamed of as he is a professional boxer. But if he now loses to an MMA fighter who just started boxing, the YouTube community will hold him accountable for his loss for the rest of his life. And the biggest YouTube boxing match of all time between him and KSI could be scrapped. In conclusion, while Nate Diaz possesses the experience, skill set, and mental fortitude to give Jake Paul a tough fight, it's important to acknowledge the potential factors working in Paul's favor. With his athleticism, size advantage, focus on boxing, and the element of unpredictability, Jake Paul could emerge victorious in this matchup. So my prediction is that this will not go to the judges' scorecards, and Jake Paul will win by knockout in round 6. However, in combat sports, anything can happen, and Diaz's tenacity cannot be underestimated. So that's my prediction, and let us know your predictions in the comments below as we await the outcome. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos as it helps support the channel, and it will let me know if you guys want to see more. Until then, I'll see y'all in the next video.